You got it here. Good job, Rena. We got obviously a lot of NHL to get to today. That was a fabulous game one. We'll get to a little of that in the course of our day. We want to spend most of the attention, at least early, on the NBA. They had pretty good ratings. I haven't seen the rating last night. It sounds like it's about 13 to 14 million that watched both games. A little more last night, you would assume, than Sunday night, only because of the fact that it's Monday night, people are home. And by the way, let me say this too. Last night had some intrigue to it because the Warriors trailed at the half. The Sunday night game it had a little moment in the fourth quarter, was the worst Game 7. Now, I don't remember that Knicks-Celtic game in 73, which everybody says 91-73 Knicks was a bad game. I don't remember that. I was only 13. I don't remember that being that horrendous at the time. The game on Sunday with Cleveland was the worst Game 7 I think I've ever witnessed. It was atrocious. And that series it had no suspense to it. You heard Breen tell you, no lead changes in the fourth quarter. That was a horrendous conference final. You can't even discuss it. Horrendous. And that game stunk. It had one moment there in the fourth quarter after Tatum had the dunk and the 3-point shot. Had a couple of other scenarios there, but that game stunk on Sunday. Ryan in South Carolina, he's with us here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Ryan, good afternoon. How are you today? What's going on?
What's going on, dog? First in line after a long holiday. I appreciate it. Listen, I gotta disagree with you on the Draymond Green thing. I mean, he's a double-double every night for that team. Brings all the energy. He's like the intangibles type of guy. Personally,
let me ask you this. Did he have anything to do with them winning that game the other night? Yeah, nothing to do.
Yesterday night you're talking about.
Yeah, did he have anything to do with winning the game? I mean,
Green on the floor. He plays defense.
Oh, no. He was over. I mean, the team scored 58 points in the second half. I mean, so the offense won the game. He was 0 for 5 from 3. He had 13 rebounds. The other team had 13 offense. The other team had 17 offensive rebounds, and he had 13 total. He had 5 turnovers, and he had 5 assists, and he was 5 for 13 from the field. Now, he had 10 points. Now, how the hell are you going to tell me that he's the reason they won? Let me hear.
I did not say that, dog. You put words in my mouth. I said he does the intangibles for him, things that a lot of guys don't like to do, like the dirty work. The other point I'll make, dog, is I got to disagree with you on this, too. I know you think it's Durant's team. I've heard you say it a million times. As Curry goes, they go. I think you saw that last night. The last thing, dog, before I go.
There is some truth to that. I was thinking about that. I've been on that Durant theme, and that's a fair point. You might be right. Curry is the guy that ignited him last night more than
Durant. Always does.
Durant picked it up after Curry got the team back in there in the third quarter. So I will agree with you on that. I'd have to re-examine that. Go ahead. What's number 3?
And then the last thing, I don't understand D'Antoni's coaching style. So it was 58-61 Houston last night in the third. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left. For the rest of the 5 minutes of the third quarter, dog, Golden State outscored Houston 20-8, I think, and he never called the timeout during that time. Can you explain that to me? Thanks for taking my call.
I'd have to go back and look at that. I know D'Antoni's taking a lot of abuse today because his team took 44 shots and they missed 27 threes in a row, and a lot of people wanted them to get off the three ball, just see the ball go in the basket and not shoot so many threes. And they don't have an inside presence. That's who they are. I think that you can make that argument if you wish, but they got to Game 7 of the conference final. They won 65 games doing it that way. It's hard to kill them too much. And let me say this too, to be fair. Now, I know Kerr wants to compare Iguodala. I guess Bird's not available, so he compares him. Steve, wake up, all right? Iguodala, you make Iguodala out to be a lot bigger deal than he is. I mean, D'Antoni shouldn't tell Durant anything, but you can make the argument that if Paul doesn't get hurt, Houston wins the series. And don't let me hear the comparison to Iguodala. That's a bunch of nonsense. To sit there and say that Iguodala means to Golden State what Paul means to Houston is one of the dumbest things, as Kerr said yesterday, that I've heard in a long, long time. You could make the argument. Now, they had leads in both games at the half without him. But you can make the argument fairly, that with Paul, A basket here or a basket there in that second half of either game, that Golden State's out. There's no debating that. Iguodala, they won the series. And Kerr's point is we would have won in 5. Nonsense. He would have won in 5. Dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm a little down on Kerr. I think Kerr's a little overrated, as I've said. He's not as good a coach as I thought. And, they won the game yesterday because obviously the two of them played fun. And Klay Thompson did a nice job after the early foul trouble, so we give him credit too. Mike in San Francisco, and he's with us here, and he's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Mike, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Chris. Thanks. Just comments on both games. The Boston-Cleveland game. It wasn't.
That was an awful Mike. That was an atrocious ball game.
It wasn't a work of art, but I'm just giving credit to Cleveland for the simple fact, or to LeBron for the simple fact, is Game 7 on the road in Boston. They hadn't won any games during the series at Boston. No Kevin Love. That team. I for sure. I think you thought Boston was going to win that game. So I liked LeBron's performance. Obviously, the Celtics, those young guys, they pissed in their pants as far as
nobody's arguing. Nobody's arguing about LeBron. LeBron does what LeBron does. He did he played a great all-around game. Nobody's going to say that. But they didn't win the game because of LeBron. He's played a million games like that and they've lost. They won the game. He had 46 points in Game 1 for crying out loud, whatever game it was. Game 2. I mean, they won the game because Boston couldn't throw the ball in the ocean. Is why they won the game.
They couldn't throw in the ocean, but. Hey, look, the Cleveland team made some big shots, and I tell you, LeBron, he had a great game. I really enjoyed it. With the Houston, I agree with you. I give Houston credit. I thought it was going to get sweet. I thought maybe they'd get one game. So Houston gets credit in my book. I'm still not a fan of Harden and the way he plays, but I give him credit. As far as the Warriors, I think they're going to win 3 out of 4, championships. Now, this is not a great team. But you cannot deny that last year going 16-1 and winning 67 games, that's a great team. I mean, you can't.
We're not talking last year. We're not talking last year. Let me ask you this way.
No, but go ahead.
If Chris Paul plays, do they win?
Debatable.
No, hold on now. He's healthy. No, hold on now, Mike. You're a good sports fan. Now, come on now. You've been calling here this show for 10 years. He plays and he's healthy. You don't think he makes a difference in these last 2 games?
No. And I tell you why. The Warriors blew them out twice with Chris Paul in the game. Blew them out twice. Okay? And you can't. Chris Paul would have made a difference. I just don't think they would have won. The Warriors got that experience. They wanted that more. They're discombobulated. This is not a great team. This is not a great team at all. But they're going to win 3 out of 4 championships, and that hasn't been done in a long time.
Yeah, I mean they are going to win 3 out of 4 championships. They're going to win this series easy. Now, one thing I want to say about Kerr, another thing that bothered me, when Aldridge, I believe he said it the night before, about the Warriors playing, backs to the wall in an elimination game. After the third quarter on Saturday night, Kerr made a big deal about how, wrong, Dave, do your homework, we beat Oklahoma City. Now, hold on now, Steve. That was Durant on Oklahoma City. He collapsed in that series, and now he's on your team. So that was a little... you are getting on Aldridge for forgetting, and I had forgotten that too. Winning 2 elimination games against OKC, obviously one of those games on the road. But the reason why they were able to do that is because your star now didn't respond for Oklahoma City. So, you have to keep that in the. I'm down on Kerr. You can tell I'm down. We're going to hear now about his political bent. He's going to make sure we'll get his comments on the NFL the next 3 months, which is going to drive me 3 weeks, which will drive me crazy. But again, what he should be doing is going to the video room and figuring out a way to get his team to play better. Because that first, by the way, speaking of that, What did Golden State do in the afternoon yesterday? Sit around and get high? I mean, that was one of the worst performances. That first half yesterday was so bad. It was mind-boggling. What did they do? I mean, on a Monday afternoon, I could not believe it. If you look at their first half yesterday, did you give me the first half stats? Eddie does not give me the first half stats. I don't have them break down for me here, unfortunately. But their first half yesterday was so bad, it was mind-boggling. 54-43. They had 1 million turnovers. Kerr was so fed up at the interview he did at the end of the first quarter, basically walked away. Worst basketball I've ever seen us play, blah, blah, blah. What did the coaching staff get the team up? What did they do for the afternoon? I don't understand that. And one other thing, it's a long weekend. Everybody's eating hamburgers and hot dogs. Steve Torrey chopping down steaks for 4 days with the Stella Artois, with the beer, Stella Artois, whatever the beer is, for 4 days. You think maybe we can play Game 7 of the Western Conference Final before 9 o'clock on a Monday night? We've been sitting there for 4 days. The only sporting event we want to watch for the last 2 is the Golden State game. Why don't they put the game at midnight when we're all in bed? They had to put the game on that late? Oh, my gosh. I know TNT needs a rating. They got nothing else. But holy God, oh, my God. You're going to hear a lot of this the next few days. I'm annoyed at this Cleveland Golden State series is going to put me to sleep. Here's our good buddy Chris Presti. He's got a sports bite. Mad Dog Unleashed.
Mad Dog Sports Radio.